Hello everyone, thanks for watching this video. So the scope of this video is to create the microservice architecture using various API, which is basically prepared for microservices. In order to do that, we are going to use Zuul API to build our API gateway, whereas Eureka server that we are going to use for our discovery client. Fin client that basically we are going to use to communicate between each and every microservices. Basically this is for intercommunication. Cloud Sleuth is basically used for to attach unique identification number for each incoming request which is coming from API gateway. And ribbon client is to distribute the load between each and every instances. Suppose that we have multiple microservices and each microservices is running on different port. So it is our responsibility is to distribute the load among all the instances which is running. And Swagger basically we are going to use for API documentation as we already know. And this is the live project video number 2. It is highly recommended to watch the first video. So what is the business of the microservices and what are the components that we are going to use in this microservices? So firstly we are going to create the total 4 microservices. First one is the product manufacturer, second one is the Flipkart, third one is the Amazon, and fourth one is the API-KAFKA portal. Okay, and for each microservices we have different database. So Flipkart having separate database, Amazon having separate database, as well as product manufacturer and API-KAFKA portal also having the separate database. Okay, and all the microservices are getting interconnected in order to perform the business. Now what is the business for this microservices? So business is very simple. We have the product manufacturer, and in this product manufacturer basically this is one kinds of wholesale. Okay, so product manufacturer having some set of product and set of prices for each and every product. So in order to do that, basically in programmatically way we are going to perform 5 operation, which is nothing but our regular CRUD operation: adding the product, updating the product, deleting the product, and getting the product by ID or get by all, which is very simple. Now second business for Flipkart and Amazon. Flipkart and business having same business logic, only difference is the rate of profit. So what basically doing is that Flipkart and Amazon both are buying the product from wholesale. And what is the wholesale? Wholesale is our product manufacturer. So Flipkart will buy the product from Flipkart and Amazon will buy product from product manufacturer. Okay, and both Flipkart and Amazon having same product ID what product manufacturer have. Okay, so now they both brought the product from product manufacturer. Post that, Flipkart and Amazon calculating the rate of profit. So rate of profit plus cost price, Flipkart is calculating the selling price. In same fashion, Amazon is also calculating the selling price. Difference is that Flipkart have some different set of rule to have the profit, as well as Amazon having some different set of rule to have the profit percentage. So they both have different profits. So obviously if the profit percentage differ, the product price, the product selling price will be also differ. So depends upon both, they are saving the product detail into the Flipkart DB as well as in Amazon DB, having his own rate of profit. Now API-KAFKA comes into the picture. Now responsibility of API-KAFKA portal is to provide the best deal to the customer In order to calculate the best deal, API-Pothi will get the product ID from product manufacturer, and with the same ID it will get the price from Flipkart, get the price from Amazon, and compare both the prices, and which one is cheaper, that API-Pothi compare portal will suggest to the buyer, okay, this is the best deal for you. Now question is that API-Pothi, why it need to get the product ID from product manufacturer? As we already know, Flipkart and Amazon having same product ID for the same product which they are buying from the product manufacturer, which is correct. But there are possibility that Flipkart having his own production house as well as Amazon also having his own production house. So since we are giving the facility to add the product, so Flipkart can add his own in-house product as well as Amazon can add his own in-house product. In that way, the product ID will differ. We are only interested to calculate the price which we are buying from product manufacturer. What they have the internal product, that we are not interested to compare the price for that. Okay, that is the reason we are getting the product ID from product manufacturer, making sure that we are comparing the product which they have brought it from product manufacturer. Apart from that, they can add his own production product, add, update, delete, get all, these are all again the CRUD operation. So this is the basic business of the our microservice architecture. So total we have four microservice and each microservice having its own database, and all the microservice whatever we are going to build, these are the API we are going to use in following order, right? Now coming to the product manufacturer DB detail and other things. As we already know, product manufacturer is responsible to do this 5 operation. This is nothing but our REST call, and all the call is happening on REST only. As per my system configuration, we have this port available, so I have used this port for product manufacturer, and depends upon this port, this is our Swagger URL. Only thing is that we will change the port number here. This port number or port ID will differ from system to system. In might be other system, some of the port will used by the another application, so that port is not free. So in that case, this port won't work. So you have to find out the other respective available port for your system. So this is all about port. Now coming to the DB schema, since we are using the MongoDB, so we will be having the collection created. In that collection, we will be having the ID, W product ID, which is actually the product ID, W product name, which is product name, W product price, which is price. The W stands for the warehouse or product manufacturer. Just to make a difference between each and every database, so we have kept W. For Flipkart F, and for Amazon A, for compare portal C. Like that we have created the DB schema, and this is the database detail. Okay, now we are coming to the Eclipse. So in Eclipse, I have already created the sample product manufacturer, just to save the time, and all the codes are available in Git. I will provide the Git URL at the end of the course. Okay, so this is the product structure. We already know how to create the Spring Boot product, and here we have the main class, which is basically annotated with the @Spring Boot application, followed with the some logs. We have some controller here, and in this controller we will be having some set of operation that anyhow we are going to understand. Now things to understand here is that first DB schema. So coming to the okay, we are using here MongoDB repository, since we are using the MongoDB. So this is the interface where we are extending the MongoDB repository, and here we are passing our persistence or entity class. If you are coming to the entity class, this is our document. It is nothing but our table name in SQL area. So we have the ID, W product ID, name, price. Okay, these are all is our entity. We have the Swagger configured here, and we know how to configure the Swagger. This is the configuration for Swagger. Main important part is that application.properties file. Till now we have the application name and port here. This is the very specific to connect to the MongoDB, and this is for our logs. Since in this project we are using the Spring version 2.2.6, and in 2.2.6 earlier we used to have the log configuration like that, logging.file.path, and we are providing the fully qualified path name. But this configuration will not work into the Spring 2.2.4, 2.2.6. So from 2.2.6 onwards they have changed the configuration, and they are saying that logging.file.name instead of path we are going to use the name, and we are providing the fully qualified name. If you don't want to provide this configuration, and if you want to provide this configuration alone without giving the file name, then Spring Boot application will automatically generate one log file name which is start with spring.log. Okay, this is the very basic structure of our Spring Boot application.properties file, right? Now coming to the controller, which is the main part. So in that controller we will be having some set of operation defined. Prior to that we are using the port number and application name. We are reading it from the our application.properties file. This create will help you to create the product, right? This is again the post mapping. So now we are going to create the product. Okay, so in that control we have the service already created. So in that service we have the method also created. See, create product ID. Okay, so this is actually our product list. So we are going to pass this product list. So we have some list of product that we are passing as form of JSON, and here we are going to create it. So through the service reference we are calling the create product method and passing the request which is coming as part of the request body, right? Now coming to the directly into the services. Inside the services we have also some set of template created. So we are going to use the same template just to save the time. Okay, so now we have the we got the list of product. So here we are going to iterate the list using for each loop. So first we are going to pass the product, and here we are having reference of my product warehouse product warehouse request, and which is type of request, right? Now from this request we are going to get the all details. Get product ID, get W product ID, get W product name, get W product prices, and all the things we are going to set into the our entity class, which is nothing but product warehouse product, and for that we are going to create the instance of warehouse product. This is the entity class. If you see here, this is our entity class. So warehouse product equal to new warehouse product. Okay, and inside the product, set id, set wid, set w name, set w prices. Okay, now id will go into the id, wid will go as part of the wid, name will go inside the name, and price will go for prices, right? So we have setted this one. Now what we will do is that we have already two lists created. So in that list we are going to add the reference, which is nothing but this one, right? So our this list is basically loaded with the all data, right? Done. Now we are going to create the trackpad, since we are going to do the persistence here. So we have the DAO reference here. Using DAO, we will be having a method called insert to save the data. You see here it is accepting our list. So we are passing list which is loaded with the data now. So now data got inserted successfully. In order to make sure that data really got successfully, we are just passing, we are having some string here. We are having message here like data inserted successfully. Okay, and if any issue come or if any exception come, we will say exception occurred while inserting the data, right? This is done. And also what we will do is that we can have some log also. So what we will do, logger.info, inside that logger.info have some error, right? We'll print here exception E, right? So here we are returning the status message which is depends upon success or fail, which is done now. So now our this API is ready. Now what this API is returning? Returning the string, which is nothing but our status message. Now coming to the controller, this guy is returning the string message, right? So what we will do? So here we will check if message is, we can have this one inside the try. Okay. So in that try block, this one, so we are going to prepare the response. So if you are coming to the response, in response we will be having four things. First two is important. Status code and status message are general thing. Port number and app name. This is basically not for the production, but we can use here for the our references. Port is basically will tell you so from which port we are getting the reference, meaning that if this services, meaning that warehouse services will run on multiple ports, more than one ports, then it is also our our understanding to know that from which port we are getting the response. That's why we are printing this one into the response. Although we can get this information into the log also, but since we are doing everything in code, so just everything we want on in front of our eye rather than traversing through all the way to logs. Okay, and this is the data that we are storing it here, returning it here. So this is the structure of our responses. So we have the instance of response created. So response dot set first thing as message. Okay. Second is that port. Okay. What is that? App name. App name done. Message done. Port done. Status code. Status code done. We don't have any data to return since we are returning the string, so no need to get this data. By default it will be null only. So this status will go here. Port number, that we are already getting it from properties file. Application name also we are getting it from file. Status code, since it is the since this is our what it is returning int, right? This is success, that's why 200. Same for technically what will happen, whatever the message will come, it will print it here. If success, it will print success. If fail, it will print fail also here. But if it fail, if it will print the fail here, then this code will go as a 200 only, which is not correct, but for our reference now we are writing it. We can have some more customized code here, but just I want to make it more specific, that's why. So port here you can put the 400. Technically there is no meaning of this one for now, but if any error will occur in controller, that time it will work perfectly. Okay, so our first API is ready, means we are able to create the product. Now second is that whatever the product we have created, it's our responsibility to get all the product. So this is the get all product, that's why we don't have any request body here. Okay, so now we have the again service instances. Service instances dot get my product. Okay, so let's go to the implementation part, and here we have get my product. So in order to get the product, we are directly going to call the DAO. We have the DAO implementation here. DAO dot find all. So we are trying to retrieve all the product from the DB. Now what find all is returning? It will return you the list of product. So here is the list of product. Okay. Now we got the list of product. Now we can iterate this one. Okay. And inside that we are going to get all the data from here. Dot get ID, get product ID, get name, get prices. Okay, and everything we are going to set into the persistence layer. And what is that persistence? We have the TO also created here. So for this one we have the transferable object created here. So TO equal to new warehouse TO. Okay, so inside the TO we are basically going to set the data. Okay, so set ID, set ID, set name, set prices. ID will go in ID part, which is here. WID will go here. W name will go here, and price will go here. Done. So we have set it this one. Now we are going to return the list of the product. So this is the list, and in this list we are going to pass our TO. So we are returning the list of product from here, right? And then this list we are returning it and printing into the log. You can put here try or catch block also for reference. Okay, now coming to the get all mapping, right? So let's have try catch block here. When I will put the code into the Git, I will correct all those things and then I will put into the Git. So this guy is returning the list of product. Okay, so here it go. List of product. Fine. And the same things we are going to set into the response. So just copy this same, okay, and paste it here. Message we are going to say success. We don't have any message here. Port done, app name done, port none, but we have now we are returning the actual data also. So response dot set we will be having the data, right? The list of product that we are going to return it from here, right? For failure case, obviously the product won't come, so we will be having the same. Instead of a status message, we are going to say fail, F-A-I-L. Right, port number status code is 400, right, and we are returning the same response object. Now our second API is also done, right? Now we are going to implement our third API, which is nothing but get by ID. So we are having the reference for services. Here it is. So service dot get by ID. The method is already there. Template is already there. Directly go to the service class, and inside the service class we are going to call our DAO. Through DAO, this is the get by ID, right? So through DAO we can say find by ID. Find by ID. An ID we are receiving from the request. So now what it will return? It will return the optional interface reference. It will return the warehouse product in optional types, right? So product by ID. To get the data from optional, we have to, okay, so what we can do is that if data came or not, copy this one, paste it here, copy this one, paste it here, and okay, just put some log. Make sure that data is coming from the DB. No error on that. Now to get the data from here, dot we have to get the dot get, okay, and then get and then dot get ID. Okay, in that way. Now we got the data and we will set this data into the TO. TO dot set ID. Right. So first thing is done. TO dot set product ID. So product dot get dot get product ID. TO dot set product name. Product ID dot get dot get product name. Okay, to dot set product price, product id dot get dot get product price. Okay, so now this thing done. So we have setted everything into the to. We are returning it list from here. So this is the product list, and here we are going to add what we are going to add, to. Done, and we are returning the list of product. So our this API is also done. Coming to the controller, and controller, it is return type is the list. So in order to do that, we can do product list. Okay, and then let's enclose this one with the try catch block. Okay, and let's set everything into the response. So we have the response here, copy same and paste it here. Message correct, port name, app name, status code correct. Instead of list, this will go here. Done. Now copy the catch block. Done. So this thing is also done. So our third API is also ready now. Coming to the fourth API, which is nothing but update. Update means put mapping, right? So we have the ID, for which ID we are going to update, and we have the request where our data is available, right? So let's have try catch block here itself, and with the services service dot update product. Technically in product also, if you see request also, we have the ID. Okay, but we are actually facing the two things, ID and the ID. So two places ID will come, so that is fine for now. So what basically we will do is that in that product only, controller area only, we will set the ID, which is actually coming from the request. This ID I have set it here. So now product instance got ID as well as the all the details which we are going to update it, right? Now coming to the our update method. Inside the update method, again we are going to call the DO. So where is the DO? This is the DO. Update is nothing but actually save only, right? So try catch block do dot save, and here basically what we are going to save, we don't have the, we cannot save this product directly since this is the request and data will save into the our this format. So first we need to convert it, right? So what we can do is that we have the to product created, and from this here we will only set it, right? So dot set id dot set id dot set name dot set prices. Okay, and which is coming from product. Now product dot, okay, get id correct, product dot get product id, product dot get product name, product dot get product price. So we have setted all the details which is coming from here, and the same things only we are going to save it. That's all. Done. So once data saved successfully, we are going to say the message that okay, data saved successfully, nothing to worry. Data saved successfully. Okay, and inside the catch block, inside the catch block, we are going to print exception occurred while saving the data. Okay, and then what we can do is that, is there any try catch? Here it is, right? So logger.error also we can print it here. This error we are printing, and at the end we are returning the status message only, which is correct now. So we are done with the update also. Fine. So what update is returning? A string only. So okay, there any string? Okay, copy this one, go to the update, print it here. Okay, and status message equal to this one, sorry, this one. Okay, so now we are going to prepare the response. Copy these are all, we will put it here: success, port name, app names, and details, and detail. Instead of my success, we will pass this message which is coming from the services, right? And copy this one, put it here, fail. So here it is fail, but this is, we have put this message, right? Instead of this one, put fail here. So our update is also done, right? Now we are going to do the delete. So we will get the service instance, service dot delete by id, and id is coming from variable, is passing it here. Delete operation is already done. So here what we are doing, the do implementation, do reference, we are calling delete by id, and we are passing the id. So if it got deleted successfully, then success equal to true, else success is false. So we are returning boolean value here, right? So now what we can do here is that, since we are returning boolean value, so copy this one, okay, we can say here, if success is true, else. If it got deleted successfully, then response is success. Okay, status message we can put that, data deleted successfully. Okay, and then for fail cases, we can pass this one, and here we can say exception occurred while deleting the data. So our delete is also done. So we are done with the all the API that is supposed to be, right? Make sure that MongoDB is running. Till now, no table is, or no collection is created. Once we run, then it will got created successfully. Now coming to the our main class, which is warehouse application. Right click, run as Java application. Since we are going to run one application on multiple port or multiple instance, so that's why it is saying here. I will show you how to configure multiple instance or multiple port into the Eclipse. Now we are using only one port to just test our services that we have written just now. Later we will run on all the 3 ports that we already reserved for our application. Depends upon my system configuration. Now running successfully. This is the Swagger URL. Coming to the browser and hit it. Now Swagger came up, right? We also have created, this is the request that we are going to pass in order to create the product. So this is the JSON for JSON array basically, where we have the ID, product ID, name, price. For each and every product ID, we have defined the different set of prices. Copy this one. Here it. Okay. And now coming to the controller, this is the create product. Pass the data here. I think it should go. No error. Let's try it. Data inserted successfully. Let's check if data inserted successfully or not. Refresh it, the database, and if you see product manufacturer collection is get created, and inside that we have the 12 record. We have added all the 12 record. That's why 12 is showing here. Now we can check into the schema also how the record is there. You see here, this is the 1 2 3 4 5 6. This is nothing but our ID. For first ID, this record is getting added, right? So now our two API we have tested, which is working perfectly. First one is the create, second one is the get all. Now get by ID. So here we are going to pass 1. For 1, the data is coming correctly. So get by ID is also working. Going to the update. So 1, what is the details? We are going to use the same. So product ID, we are going to pass this one. Product name, we are going to, okay, same, right? Same. But here we will say update something, and ID will same ID. One ID that we are passing as the request parameter, and one ID which is available inside the request. That's why two ID it is showing it here. I have changed the name to the name and update. Just check if it is updating correctly or not. And let's try it out. Data saved successfully. Data updated successfully. Now updated, done, updated only, right? Yeah. Now go to the get by product by ID 1. Try it out, and we'll see update is coming, meaning our update is done. Let's unchange this one, remove the update, and then try it out. Data saved successfully. We'll go again, get by ID. We'll check if again updated or not. See, again restored. This is done. Delete also we can do by 1. We are deleting the record of 1. Okay, and if you see data deleted successfully. Now if you go here, get 1, we don't have any data. Fail means data is not there. So now again to restore, what we will do, we'll go to the create and we will add it. So how we are going to add it? db query form 1, right? So copy up to here, paste it. Okay, now it should add. Try it out. Data inserted successfully. Now we'll check in get by ID. Get by ID, this one is the get by ID. Okay, so now try it out. 1 data is coming. Okay, so our all add, update and delete, get by ID, everything is working correctly. So now our this services is done. In next video for this series, in that video we are going to create the Eureka server, and inside the Eureka server we are going to register product manufacturer services, and where product manufacturer services is running on multiple port. Thank you for watching this video.